What is good, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. As usual, if you're new here and enjoy NBA content, would appreciate you just taking 1 second of your time to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. But today's video, if you couldn't tell already, is going to be on Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. He is a 6'10 wing that is just unbelievably offensively gifted. You just don't see guys his size with the skill level that he has, and he just doesn't really get talked about. Like, obviously he'll get talked about here and there, but in terms of like the national media, he does not get anywhere near the praise and recognition that he deserves. And a lot of that is because he plays for the Orlando Magic, small market team, but they are coming. They have a ton of young talent. I expect them to take an OKC-like jump this year, be in the mix for the play-in, and maybe even a little bit more. But today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different style of video. I've been making longer videos showing you a bunch of clips. And in this video, we're going to be a little bit more detail-oriented. Focus on fewer clips and then just talk our way through these clips instead of, having a ton of clips play in the background and focusing on a couple of them. Anyways, I'm glad you guys are here. And without further ado, let's get into what makes Franz Wagner so special on the offensive end. All right, so we're going to start with the shot creation ability of Franz Wagner. And there are wings in the league that do that. Chris Middleton, DeMar, Kawhi, Book. But what makes Franz special and a bit different is the size at which he does it at. There are very few people his height that can do what he does on ball at 6'10". I'm talking KD, BI. It's a very limited list. So watch right here, right? Myers Leonard's in a drop. It's going to turn him away. So now he's trying to get downhill to the right. Chris Middleton cuts him off. This is the point at which Franz can get to his shot that a lot of people can't. He's going to turn over the other shoulder. Chris is still there. Turn right back around over the right shoulder. That is really tough. And there's nothing really that Chris Middleton can do, right? He has all the bases covered, right? Has this covered, has the drive covered, has that turnaround covered, and then he does his best, but Franz is too big. And Chris did a good job because he shut off multiple things, right? Like, there are obviously times where, boom, one spin, Grayson's lost, Franz has enough space, hits the jumper. And really, the point I'm trying to get at is you can't box him in, right? Like, Isaiah Stewart is in great position to shut off the drive. Franz realizes this, and this is the point where so many players are just going to look for a pass out. But because of Franz's skill and size, he's just going to turn around, and there's no way that you can both stop this drive and get back out to the shot. Look at that. That's really tough, but it's not for Franz. This is Dorian Finney-Smith, a big, strong defender. We'll pause it here. How many guys are just kicking it out here, but not Franz, right? He takes that bump. He's cut off. Okay, fine. I'm just going to spin over, get to the other shoulder, and shoot it over you. And look at Dorian Finney. He does everything he can, but he's not close enough to contest this shot. His 6'10 ass really has guard-like feel with the ball in his hands. Like, look how he intentionally cuts off R.J. Barrett's path back into the play, takes him out of it, steps back, and shoots it over one of the better shot blockers in the league. Like, not a lot of guys can make that shot, right? There are some for sure, but at 6'10", at his age, that is super advanced. Here he's matched up with Jared Allen in space, and watch this snatch. Yank! Pause it. Look at the space, the amount of space that he creates. And yeah, if a guard does that, a 6'4 guard does that, cool, you're supposed to. 6'10 to be able to create that amount of space is ridiculous. Same sort of vibes here. He's eventually going to get matched up with Nick Claxton in space, who's actually a very mobile big for his size. Slow it down. Behind the back, freeze him up, between the legs, into a step back, and look at the amount of space between these two. There's just no way Nick Claxton can get to him. And this is just a common theme, and he makes it look easy. But I'm telling you, at 6'10", that sort of move with that amount of fluidity is really difficult. And there's a reason guys aren't doing that. And that is why I am so high on Franz. And then obviously you get a smaller defender on him, it's game over. High leverage situation, into the body, turn over the shoulder, bucket. It's not limited to the mid-range though, right? Like, a lot of guys like DeMar, BI, they aren't the same level of shot creators from three. Franz can do it from three as well. Look at this. He's going to get Thad Young switched on him. He's out at the hash, and this is his favorite move. He'll size up, cross, and then go between the legs into a gather step back. That's a hash mark step back three. That is not normal. All right, same move here, and notice the time and point in the game. This is a very crucial possession. Same move. Look at the space created. Covington can contest, but it's just enough space that it doesn't really matter because this is a rhythm shot for Franz. It's something he's clearly practiced over and over. And we run it back. I want you to notice how after the initial cross, when he puts the ball down again, how it puts Covington on his back foot, right? Like these are just handles and fluidity, again, at this size that are not normal. All right, so watch this play. He's going to get the ball from his brother, get downhill to the left, recognize that the big is low and Tyrese is trailing, and this is when he puts it down. Look at how much space he creates and how far out he gets. Tyrese actually sells out, reads it well, but look at him just calmly up fake, regather, knock down the triple. Like, that's veteran level craft and polish. And you got to remember, this was his second year. He's only going to sharpen his craft and get better and better. So this is really exciting about the ceiling that he has. Game on the line at Indiana. Franz got the mobile 7-foot Miles Turner on him. Go get us a bucket, bro. Between the legs, sell the downhill drive, stop on a dime, step back, double clutch a little bit, and with Miles Turner in your eye, drill the shot. Come on. That is a big time shot. There are not very many 6'10 dudes able to create that shot in a presser situation like that. And Franz is one of those dudes at a very young age. Franz also has a ton of range from three. Like, he can just step into legitimate 30-footers, as you've seen in some of these clips. And it makes for some great highlights, obviously. But the other side of it is it just makes you much tougher to defend because now the defense has to respect that and cover so much more ground, which is going to open up things for you more getting downhill. All right, speaking of getting downhill, this is the next aspect of his game that really fascinates me, and that is his ability to get to the rim and the body control that he has to fit his 6'10 body into extremely tight spaces. So OG Anunoby on ball, Christian Koloko dropped. Look at that space, right? There does not look to be much space in between these two, but watch this gather and how he fits his body in here, draws the contact, and is able to lay it up. A 6'10 dude is not supposed to be able to split this gap. Franz Wagner does it consistently. All right, this one was just ridiculous. He's going to catch the ball here, get downhill with the left, and Jordan Noir is going to be trailing him, and Miles Turner's in a drop. Now, you tell me, does it look like there is any room for a 6'10 dude to split this gap? Not only that, but split the gap in a way that he can still get downhill towards the basket. He does it with the long strides, as we've seen. Buddy Hield, granted, it is weak help, but not only does he split the gap in a way in which he can get downhill, he also has to deal with Buddy coming over, finishing over one of the better shot blockers in the league in Miles Turner, and dealing with the Buddy Hield help. That is just stupid. All right, here we go again. DeLon Wright on ball. Very good defender. Daniel Gafford in a drop. Good rim protector. Look at how tight that space is. There's not a lot of room there. Franz is 6'10". As he strides through, notice how he brings the ball up and away from Daniel Gafford so he can't swipe the ball away. And then from there has the ability, with his momentum taking him right, to stride back left and use his length both in his strides and his arms to finish at the rim. I'm telling you, my friends, you cannot teach that. Okay, this is a beautiful setup. Yep. Goodbye, D-Book. Pause it. And then DA looks to be in decent position, right? But watch the long strides. Notice how he's going to bring the ball up and over so DA can't get to it. And then he's really good at finishing from these weird kind of different angles that a lot of guys don't normally do. It's like he'll get some hook shots in there, some floaters, and he just has crazy length that allows him to finish at these odd angles that you don't usually see. All right, here he's getting downhill against KP, and I want you to notice how he puts his foot down going right. KP has to respect it, and immediately he's Euroing it right back to the left. His length allows him to get it to the glass before KP can affect the shot. Like, this is crazy mobility out of a 6'10 guy. He is so smooth finishing around bigs. Here we go, back again against Phoenix. Going to get downhill on Torrey Craig. DA's in a drop. And I want you to notice how DA jumps up in the air, and that is not on accident. Franz gives a little eye fake. That's really all it takes, a long stride and an eye fake, and DA thinks he's going there. As soon as DA commits, Franz is just stepping through with the long strides and finishing on the other side of the rim. It's just beautiful to watch a guy this big be able to do what he does, man. Here he is fearless, straight downhill drive. Joel's waiting for him. Franz does not care. Euro right, finish left, into the body, layup. All right, let's just keep rolling with these. High pick and roll. Dorian Finney-Smith on ball. There's a little bit more room here. Here you can see, okay, he does have room to split this. But notice how high out he is, right? He covers so much ground with these long strides. He brings it up and over and away from Dwight Powell. Great finish at the rim. And obviously this is going to translate in transition and downhill opportunities as well. And our view is going to get a little bit blocked by Big Zoo here. But if I told you he was going to be able to Euro outside of Marcus Morris and get all the way to the rim here, would you believe me? Like, maybe because we've seen the clips before, but that is insane that a 6'10 dude has the mobility to, one, Euro in, but then Euro back outside and use these strides to get all the way to the cup. I mean, it is so impressive. Here we are in transition again, in between the legs to the offhand. Lowry respects it, and then we'll pause it. This is what he picks it up here. It doesn't look like there's anything there, but he's going to Euro around Lowry, take a swipe down from Neil Alexander-Walker, and again, the length to extend and be able to finish at the rim. Very impressive. And I know we talked about it earlier, but the other thing with Franz is that he has a lot of on-ball craft to be able to get to certain spots, right? Like, it's not just that he's taking advantage of straight line drive downhill situations. Like, there are guys that can make these Euro moves, but it's just like, all right, I catch it in a straight line drive, and that's how I attack. But Franz has the craft to set you up. So, for example, watch this. Luka's guarding him here. Watch that little in and out. And now Luka's set up to get caught on the Wendell screen. From there, it's just a nice little spin off and lefty finish. That's craft. Here we go, another on-ball rep. DeJounte Murray trailing, and watch how he cuts off DeJounte's path back. Now DeJounte's on his back, and he can't do anything to get back into the play. All right, we've already seen it in some of the previous clips, but these last couple clips are going to focus on the different finishing angles that Franz Wagner has. He's doing stuff that just guys aren't doing in the league. So right here, Gordon Hayward trailing. Seems like it's going to set up for a normal turnaround jumper, and watch what Franz pulls out of the bag. A lefty hook? Okay, Franz, I see you. All right, next play, Franz Wagner is matched up with JaVale McGee in space, and that should be food, right? But JaVale actually does a really good job staying disciplined, stays down, gives him just enough space. Franz is going to bring the ball over through the help, and I don't even know what to call this. This is like a lefty running, floating layup, and this is what I mean. Like, Franz finishes from these crazy, ridiculous angles that no one else really does, where he's not getting all the way to the cup, but he still has the touch to finish. JaVale McGee is 7 feet tall with a 7'6" wingspan. These shots, you just can't get to him. All right, I remember watching this one live and my jaw dropped. I have never seen this. So right here, watch this little hesitation to get a step on Evan Mobley, and then we'll freeze it. Who is attempting layups from this angle? This is like a reverse, same hand reverse floater off the backboard. Like, this is mind-blowing stuff. No one does this. He has the length and touch to finish over one of the best shot blockers in the league with this shot. That's a made-up shot. Like, I have never seen anyone else do that. All right, here we go again. Larry Nance on ball. Larry Nance actually does a really good job. He doesn't allow Franz Wagner to turn the corner all the way to the basket. But again, Franz is able to hit these in-between floating. Like, this is a left-handed in-between on the run underhand scoop shot. That, my friends, that does not make sense. But that's the whole point of this video, is that Franz Wagner does not make sense. 6'10 guys should not be able to do what he does as fluidly as he does. I wanted to add this here at the end. This just shows his IQ. Off the inbound, realizes no one's looking. Oop, pop it off D'Anthony Melton's back and go get his team a layup. But that'll do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Franz Wagner is a unicorn, right? Like, 6'10 guys, don't be fooled. They don't really exists like Franz does, with the shot creation ability, the finishing ability. He's also a really good passer and defender. We just don't have enough time to get into all of that. But I hope by the end of this video, guys, that you have more appreciation for his game. And that you tune into Magic games next year, man. They are really fun, and it's not just Franz Wagner. They're full of young talent. I like their coach. He brings really good energy as well. And they're just, without a doubt, a team that you guys got to tune into next year, because they will be taking jumps. I love you guys. Thanks for being here with me, and I will see you on our next video.